The playoff bracket's set. I'm still sick, but grind don't stop. We got to talk about MLB playoffs. Today was the doubleheader. As I'm filming, the Mets the Mets lost this one, so I'm filming after the Braves win and the Braves get in. As you can tell right here, they are the 5 seed. But man, that first game was maybe the most fun baseball game of the year. Probably the most fun baseball game of the year, let me tell you. If you missed that, boy oh boy, if you missed that game, the Mets were down 3-0 going into the 8th, put up a 6 spot in the 8th, and then the Braves managed to take the lead, and then the Mets managed to take the lead back in the 9th, was it the 8th off Raisel Iglesias and Joe Jimenez. That was hectic, for lack of a better word. And then the second game was not as hectic. The Mets couldn't hit the ball. They had 3 total hits and 4 base runners as a whole. Of Grant Holmes, it was slated to be Chris Sale, who has back spasms. That's another one we got to talk about. I guess we'll start by talking about Atlanta, because they just cashed their ticket last, therefore forcing the Diamondbacks out, which, I don't know how to feel about that. You know, the Diamondbacks had a really interesting season where they were terrible the first half, tried to pick it up the second half, and they got hot at one point. But down the stretch, they controlled their own destiny, and it just felt like every time they had a clear lane to the end zone, they fumbled. They Deshaun Jacksoned it. Before they crossed the finish line, they dropped the ball. So with Atlanta, now the bigger picture becomes, will you ever get healthy Chris Sale in these playoffs? You didn't get him today because of back spasms. Will you get him healthy this playoff run? Because if not, kiss your season goodbye, dude. That's your ace. Also with Atlanta, the thing that I didn't mention, let me make myself a little bit bigger. They had to expend a lot of bullpen pieces today. They did. Grant Holmes was a bullpen game. Game 2 was a bullpen game, and it ended up being a really good one. Like I said, you cashed your ticket in. But now the issue becomes who starts game 1? Is Chris Sale going to be ready tomorrow, this week, this year again? I don't know. And then obviously on top of that, you use Raisel back-to-back games. You used Joe Jimenez back-to-back games. You used a lot of your bullpen. And that's kind of a hard one to come back from. They also threw Reynaldo Lopez out of the bullpen. So I don't know what that means either. Is he cleared to start in the 3-game set against San Diego? Is he? I don't know. He only threw 15 pitches. I'm looking at it right now. He threw 15 pitches. Is he going to start again? I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks flying around in my head about the Braves right now. But like I said, I've been saying it all year, once you get in, it is a complete roll of the dice. Once you are one of the, I don't know how many teams we even got in the playoffs anymore. Once you're one of the teams in the playoffs, it is a complete roll of the dice to see how your season goes. The Braves, another key point that I kind of wanted to bring up was, man, is their offense just clunky. It's a clunky offense. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. It is just clunky. They get in their own way a lot. Matt Olson got thrown out today. That base running mistakes, or not even base running mistake, base running outs happen. But the offense in general, it's weird. They go through a long stretches of just not being able to hit. And you're not going to be able to get away with that against San Diego. If you're going to want to beat San Diego, you got to jump on their starters. You have to jump on their starters because the Padres' bullpen is just far too good for you to hold on to a game if you're down 3. You know, the Mets kind of played blow it, counter blow it in that game. But let me tell you, the Mets bullpen threw away, Phil Maton and Edwin Diaz specifically tried to throw away that game. Tanner Scott, Jason Adam, Robert Suarez, any of those guys, Morejón, they're not going to be giving away the games like that. It's going to be a lot harder for them to blow a game than the Mets per se. Again, it's a complete roll of the dice, so they could. I wonder who Game 1 starter is going to be. Maybe, I don't know, was Max Fried? Max Fried, when did he last pitch? I don't think it was even 5 days ago at this point. I mean, he threw in the Royals series. What game was that? He threw on the 27th? So he'd be throwing again. Yeah, probably not. I don't know, man. Who's your Game 1 starter now? Is it? Nope, Schwal. So Schwellenbach threw today. Fried threw not even 5 days ago. Chris Sale has back spasms. Reynaldo Lopez threw out of the bullpen today. Where is this start coming from? Charlie Morton is your Game 1 starter? That sounds interesting. I don't hate it. That's the thing about the Braves roster is that they kind of have good pitching depth in the starters. If I had to pick this series, I mean, in my last video, I said I think the Padres could go all the way, so I'd probably take the Padres. That feels like a safe bet. I mean, in the first game, the Braves put up 7 runs, and they got 3 hits out of Laureano, 2 out of Ozzie, 5 RBIs, a home run out of Ozzie. So they maxed out Ozzie in that first game, and Ramon Laureano went 3 for 5. Who else can you reliably depend on to hit the ball at this current moment? You know what I mean? So if I had to pick one, picking San Diego. Just because, like I said, you can't afford to fall behind on them. You got to hit their starters, and the Braves have been struggling just to hit in general. Like Joey Lucchesi went deep into that game, and Joey Lucchesi is not a pitcher that goes deep into many games. Joey Lucchesi went 6-1 earned. Joey Lucchesi is not a 6-1 earned type of guy. Now we could talk about the Mets. They won probably the most fun game I've seen in the last couple of years. Insane game, multiple lead changes. I mean, it was a 6 spot in the 8th. How often do you see a 6 spot in the 8th coming off of Joe Jimenez, who in the month of September had been exceptionally good, and then a couple more came off Raisel Iglesias, who's been like a top 3 closer in baseball this year. You don't see that very often. Can they piece it together against Milwaukee? I'm pretty sure they just lost 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee, not literally a few days ago. Let me go check just to make sure. Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3, literally the last series before the regular season ended. The Brewers had cashed their ticket as well, I think, before that. So, I mean, they lost to the Brewers, who weren't really even playing for anything. That's worrisome. And I'm still trying to figure out who exactly will be Milwaukee's Game 1 starter. In the Mets series, they threw Colin Ray. Who was the other one? Frankie Montas. And who else started? I think the last one was a bullpen game. I don't know who their Game 1 starter is. Probably Freddie. If you're going to see Freddie, I don't know, man. Freddie's been having a weird year. He's not the ace that I thought he was going to step into and be. He hasn't been that dominant this year, but Freddie Peralta can still get you a really good start. And again, this is another situation where the Mets' bats have gone mysteriously quiet at times, and the Brewers' bats aren't. I keep saying this. I feel like it's mean to say, but I don't fear the Brewers' bats. There's a few good hitters on that roster. Don't get me wrong. They're not all bad hitters. This is not some team that lucked into the playoffs. They are a good team, an elite bullpen as well. But man, their lineup top to bottom doesn't scream murderer's row to me or anything like that. Like, Willie Adames very good. William Contreras very good. Bryce Terang is pretty good. Joey Ortiz is pretty good. But, like, it's not a deep team. They got Collins playing. I mean, for Christ's sake, they have Mets legend Gary Sanchez on the field. No, he's not on the field. He's mostly just DHing. But, like, Rhys Hoskins. This Jackson Chourio, of course, exceptional for a rookie. But is there that many guys that you can confidently say, yeah, I can rely on him in the playoffs? I don't know. The Brewers are one of those weird teams, man. But this is a Stearns matchup. I forgot about that until now. That damn near blanked on me. This is Stearns, the new Mets president of baseball ops, or whatever his job title is. He built the roster against the team that he just left. That's a pretty fun one. Of course, the Mets starters are very sporadic as well. Sevy has his good starts and his bad. When Sevy's fastball is getting dinged, he is damn near impossible to throw more than 3 innings. Like, I don't want to be rude, but Sevy's fastball, it's very dependent on his whole game. I don't know. I don't truly believe in either team. This is a weird one where it's like, I don't think I trust either team, and I feel like, I don't know, man, because the playoffs are weird. I could sit here right now and tell you that both of these teams would probably get pounded by Philadelphia. However, Philly's been dominant out of the wild card round the last 2 years. They finally won the division. Does that time off hurt them? We've seen the last, I don't know, however many years now of teams getting that first round bye and then just forgetting how to hit. You take that time off and it's like they got to come back in and you got to be locked in, and these are really more serious. This fly just hit me in the face, bro. What the hell? But of course, like, you take a couple of days off. It's hard to just jump back in there and get into playoff atmosphere baseball. Last year you saw with who was it? Was it the Dodgers or something that did what was it? They did a batting practice where they pumped in like crowd noise extra loud. That doesn't work. There's a big difference between a live atmosphere with cameras rolling, pressure on every at bat versus AI generated pumped in crowd noise from the speakers. That doesn't impact, the crowd noise isn't what impacts players, let me tell you. It's the pitcher and also the actual crowd. It's not the noise, it's the actual crowd. If this is another one where I'm going to say if I have to pick, you know what? Give me the Mets. I picked the Mets to make it here, like in my last baseball recap video. I picked the Mets to make it here, so yeah, why not pick them to win again? They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers. I call that exercising demons. You beat a team that you couldn't clear before. Stearns gets his, not really revenge, because I don't think he left in a vicious manner like Craig Counsell did, but I think the Mets might be able to get something going. I don't know. The Brewers pitching is just what scares me. The Mets have Manaea, Sevy, and they'll piece together game 3. But as for the Brewers, shit, you might see Colin Ray in a 3-game series. And I know the Mets just lost to Colin Ray the last time they faced him, I believe. But Colin Ray is not a good pitcher. All right? I'm not beating around the bush on that one. I am not a Colin Ray guy. Ray gave them, in their last one, Colin Ray went 5 2/3, 10 hits, 5 earned. Oh my God. That's horrible. 10 hits is a lot of hits in 5 2/3 innings. And he threw 106 pitches. Oh my gosh. Hobie Milner's pretty good though. Hobie. It's quite the name, Hobie. But I think he's a good pitcher. But I'm gonna take the Mets. You know what? I'm riding with the Mets. The Mets. I like the Mets. They're their little brother New York team, and it's very fun to watch them strive and be successful. Let's jump over to the AL, because the AL is it's been decided for a couple of days now, essentially. The Twins, I was going to make a video on them. Bro, if I wasn't deathly sick, the Minnesota Twins would have gotten God's fire and wrath out of me, because the Minnesota Twins piss me off year in and year out. Rocco Baldelli, bro, throw a brick at him or something. Oh, my God, what a terrible manager. Let's talk about this top series, Detroit versus Houston. Of course, Detroit's rumbling into here on the biggest hot streak in recent baseball history. I mean, they've been scorching, screaming hot to the finish line since August. I think they have the MLB's second best or best record since August started, not September, August. They've been screaming hot, and it's been really fun to watch. But they are running into an empire. I don't want to glaze Houston because I'm a Yankees fan, bro. I hate them just as much as every AL West team does. I can't stand Houston, but here's the thing. They're a dynasty, basically, and it's hard to beat that. They get that bullshit magic or something like that just gets under your skin. Live on air, Pete Rose just passed away. Jesus Christ. Dikembe Mutombo and Pete Rose in the same day. I don't even know what to say. Baseball analysis is a little bit tough, of course, when, you get news like that. I ignored the first phone call I got because I was I'm kind of recording right now. I picked up the second. I figured it was urgent, and yeah, that's horrible news to get, much less while I'm recording. I don't know what to say about that, but rest in peace. The late, great Pete Rose, million hits. Speed Pete was that guy, man. Maybe I don't know, bro. Posthumously let him in the Hall. I don't know, something like that, bro. Maybe posthumously let him in. I don't know. Weird. I don't know what to say. What the fuck is today? Never a great time to eulogize someone mid-YouTube video while I was just screaming about, who was I talking about? Colin Ray, 5 minutes ago. Let's talk about more baseball, though. I like the matchup, though, for Detroit against Houston, as Tarek Skubal is a lefty, and so is Kyle Tucker. And if you can minimize everybody around Jose Altuve, I think that would help a lot. Jose is obviously a problem in and of itself. He's just a demon, playoff god. But, if you could take away Tucker or Alvarez, I don't even know, is Alvarez playing? I got to check that again, because I know he hurt his knee the other day. Let me see if he's playing. They are entering the postseason with uncertainty surrounding their top hitter, Yordan Alvarez. So that was on September 30th. That is literally the day I'm recording it, and it was updated 2 hours ago. So that's all I got. I'm assuming he'll be back at some point. I think he did a BP the other day, or maybe this morning, yesterday. I don't remember anymore. News is flying past me. Fucking Pete Rose, dude. So yeah, I'd probably still take Houston simply because they're Houston. They get contributions from everybody somehow every year. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me how they managed to get production out of like Mauricio Dubon and like Jeremy Pena and John Singleton. And of course now they got resident old man Jason Hayward hitting bombs. I don't get it. I'm just taking Houston because of the well, how do I say this? They have the age, I guess. Is that what I'm getting at? They're an older team. They have the experience. Jesus Christ, say experience, you idiot. They have the experience. They're a dynasty for a reason. They've been around, floating around forever. You know how that goes. And now the last one we're going to talk about, Kansas City versus Baltimore. Baltimore, man, I was hoping Baltimore ran into Detroit because Detroit owns them. But instead they get Kansas City, who's pooing the bed actively, walking into the playoffs, with blood dripping down them. It's like you get to walk into Baltimore with blood already coming at it. You might as well just walk into the ocean with like your sternum cut. You're going to get eaten by the shark. Now, Baltimore is not some impenetrable demon team, don't get me wrong. They have 2 starters. They have legitimately 2 starters. It's Corbin Burns and it's Zach Eflin. And if you touch either one of them, you could come out of the series a winner. But since Pasquantino's been down, they don't have a lefty bat presence like that really anymore either. Witt, righty. Perez, righty. Michael Massey, I think, is a lefty. That's about it. But they don't have Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, hitting cleanup. And that's kind of their big cog that I think they're missing. And I think that's going to kind of knock them out. I miss Vinny P. Italian beef, Italian sausage. Pasquatch, whatever you want to call him. We love you, Vinny P. Get back soon. Hopefully the man can stay healthy because he's falling apart the last few seasons. He's had season-ending injuries, and it's just sad to see because I love the Pasquatch. But yeah, the Mets cashing their ticket and then Atlanta cashing their ticket. It was a fun season for the DBacks. Gino tried to carry them. Cattell tried to carry them, but the pitching staff ultimately murdered them. Their pitching staff was abysmal down the stretch and has been abysmal this whole season, really. So, yeah. Sorry to the Diamondbacks fans, but the pitching staff was atrocious this season. And, you got to shore that one up if you want to make the playoffs next season. Now, if I want to do next round, I guess we could do Yankees versus Baltimore. Jesus Christ, I don't even want to talk about it. They just got freaking smacked, just literally earlier this week by Baltimore in 2 out of 3 before they clinched the division. I don't even know what to say. If you can't touch Eflin, which they can't touch Eflin. The Yankees can't touch Zach Eflin. He throws strikes. He throws 92, and yet I don't know, bro. He's like prime Randy Johnson when he touches the mound against the Yankees. And then Corbin Burns, who month of August was a bad month, and the month of September has been dominant. Let's hope he flounders once at least. It's going to be tough uphill for the Yankees. Though, if I'm being honest, even if you're home, Baltimore just has a more well-rounded roster. But the Orioles bullpen has dinked away some games. So I guess we'll see. But the Yankees, specifically Clay Holmes, has pooped away some games as well. So I don't know. And then Cleveland versus, man, the Central's weird. I think Cleveland took 2 out of 3 of them. Did they? Hold on. I know they played early this week too. It's crazy how all these playoff matchups have literally started like they played last week. I'm pretty sure earlier this week, Cleveland and Houston matched up. I got to check who took 2 out of 3 because I don't remember right now. Oh, yeah, I forgot. The last game got rained out, but the Astros took the 2 games of the set. I forgot the last game got rained out, and that screwed over Jose Ramirez, who got robbed out of a 40-40 season. Was absolutely just hosed of a 40-40 season. I'm going to completely disrespect Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 because a little pudge-ball Dominican who's like 5'4", hit 40-40. 50-50 doesn't mean shit to me anymore. I don't care. We love J-Ram around here, but let's be honest. Does he look 40-40 to you? Does he look like 40 stolen bases, 40 home runs to you? No. 50 WAR in his career. What a... God, I want to slap the table for Jose Ramirez, but it's going to unplug my mic. I hope the Dodgers get bumped first round. I think that's where I'm going to leave it, is I hope the Dodgers get bumped first round. Screw the Dodgers, screw the Phillies, and screw Houston. That's where I'm going to go with that. The rest of you, screw Baltimore. The rest of you, I don't really give a damn. Have at it. If the Mets make the World Series or the Padres make the World Series or the Braves do, I don't really care. And if the Brewers make the World Series, how? You know, no Yelich, how? If you enjoyed, like, comment, share, sub. Rest in peace, Pete Rose. Rest in peace, Dikembe Mutombo. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.